you guys feel you have questions with, or style, or in general what to do with them? Okay. Okay, well, let's move this way a little bit into the middle. Let's line up this way. Yeah, I'll face the mirror here in a minute. Well, you just kind of look like twins there. Yeah, right.
Shrink me by 75%.
Okay, so the most important thing is that arms should always be a result of a body action. Now, there are times, especially when we compete or do an event or do a showcase or a solo or a spotlight, that there are points and times that the teacher will say, just put your arm out so it's doing something. Okay, so sometimes we have to do what we call more of a quick fix for an arm, just so that you might like the picture. Okay, so when you get your little picture back, because I know you all have Jack here in the studio, so I'm sure there's tons of pictures at every event. I'm really bad at our studio, like, we always forget the camera. Always. Thank goodness my students bring cameras, or we would have no event picture of any event we ever did. Okay, I might have one on my iPhone, but that would be about it right now. I just don't remember to bring the camera, ever. So, with that, we do have to think sometimes, like, well, if someone caught me in this pose, would I want to buy the picture or show anyone the picture, or would I want them to just, rip it up and tear it to shreds? Okay? So that's some of the first thing that we have to think about. So, with that, we know that we'd like to purchase our pictures. So how can we get ourselves to a position where we might even think of doing that? Okay? So the first thing is that if we just stand with our weight in the split weight, and we just rock from side to side, let your hands relax, what do they kind of naturally do? They swing with you, don't they? Okay? So what I need to do now is exaggerate an action that my body does. So if my body goes to the right, I'm going to extend my arm to the right. And if my body goes to the left, I would extend my arm to the left. So now let's go mechanically through how our arms extend. Okay? So every action there has to be, I take my elbow, my wrist, and my fingers. Okay? And in ballroom dancing, I always want those fingers to end facing the floor. Okay? Now, we're all girls in here. You may do as much articulation with the fingers as you like. They can be flatter. They can be more articulated with the middle finger down. It doesn't matter. Guys have to do Superman and Hans. Okay? The ladies, we can articulate. Okay? Then the retraction is the same thing. Elbow, wrist, fingers. Okay? So again, elbow, wrist, fingers, elbow, wrist, fingers. And again, elbow, wrist, fingers. Now, just for fun's sake, before you do elbow, transfer your weight to your left foot. Elbow, wrist, fingers. We go back to the right. Elbow, wrist, fingers. Okay, now again, don't put too much into them to where the fingers flip up. So fingers are basically, another way to think about it is reaching to the opposite wall. Okay? Elbow, wrist, fingers. Now, the next thing to think about is the level of your arm. It basically should be somewhere between shoulder and ear. Okay, so that hand level is somewhere between shoulder and ear. A little too low would be here. This is a little too high for a basic action. Okay, say I did an open break, which is your left arm. Okay, this would be a little too high. Okay, that arm's used for, like, say, a peekaboo or some back rock actions. Okay, we'll get to all that. Now let's use the left arm so it doesn't feel left out. So we go elbow, wrist, fingers, 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 elbow, wrist, fingers. One more time. Elbow, wrist, fingers, elbow, wrist, fingers. Now, for those of you that are newer, or for those of you for tomorrow don't want to have to think about 3 mechanical ways of putting an arm out, always try and take your fingers. Okay? Because if you send your fingers out, the rest of your arm follows. Okay? Whereas if all you think about is elbow, you might still get left with something like this, and then you'd be very mad that you came to my workshop. Because it was worth nothing. Okay? So take the fingers out. Okay? So, now let's think about, we'll just kind of partner up here in a minute, but we'll kind of do it facing the mirror for a minute. Let's think about if we were actually in a dance position, say rumba. Okay? Well, my elbows are already done for me. So let's just do half a box to an open break. So we have slow, quick, quick, slow. These released me. Well, my elbow's already done. I just have to do wrist and fingers. Quick, quick, slow. My underarm turn. I'm going to bend the elbow. I'm going to straighten the elbow back out. Now I'm just going to leave it as I walk around. And then when he picks up my back, then I will bend and be back to dance position. Okay? So let's do that again. So we have box, slide. Quick, quick, slide. So again, just wrist and fingers. Or fingers if we don't want to think about wrist. We don't want to, what I see is that you don't want to have to drop it, then you got to take the arm all the way back out. Okay? I'm about energy efficiency, time management. Okay? I don't want to have to work harder than I need to. But more importantly, okay, when I'm talking about dancing in a competitive event, something like that, showcase, spotlight, whatever it is, I've decided for some strange reason to let myself get out in front of people, right? So I want to look the best that I can look. Okay? Because what's our biggest fear about doing something like that? You don't want to look stupid. And it doesn't matter if it's your first one or your 80th. Okay? You still, at some level, we want to make sure we don't make a fool of ourselves. And that's universal, whether you're female or male. Okay? The men will say it long more, but we're all going to feel it as well. Okay, so with that, the minute I drop my arms, well, I'm going to look like I'm not ready. Okay, so if I can just keep my arm out and do that, I look so much more prepared. Okay? Now watch as I do this for a minute. So you have two options here. I prefer that when a lady goes there, that arm just goes out. And if you want to, you can wave at your other boyfriend. Then you can come back to your partner and pretend that you never did that. Okay? And then come back through. It's so much more fun when I have no men in the class, because 5 men doesn't really count. Because I can't always say that when there's like the husbands in the class or the boyfriends, because they kind of get a little mad at me that I allowed their wives to flirt. Okay? So we want to tell them that we're doing that. Okay? Here we go. Let's try it again. And slow. Side, together, side. Extend the fingers. Quick, quick, slow. Bend just the elbow. Because the only reason why, if I leave that arm out, I'm going to karate chop him, right? Now as I step through, take that hand out to the wall. Now leave it there and just swivel through your feet. Finish the step. That's it. Because I see a lot of times, I'll see a lady actually do a nice open break, and then like the arm just gets dropped. And then she got to pick it back up. And then the gentleman, when the arm's down, has to go fishing through to figure out how to pick up your back. Did your teacher ever say, get your arm out of my way? Right? Well, if I never put it down, it's never going to be in their way in the first place. Plus, I look better, so that's really what it's about. Okay, one more time with this, and we're going to go on crossovers. So we have slow. Quick, quick, slow. Arm out. Quick, quick, slow. Out again. Stretch those fingers. Slow. Quick, quick, slow. Quick. Okay? Okay, so now, just grab a partner, because crossovers we do both sides, so it doesn't matter. I think we're one girl. Oh, we're even. 5 Since I've actually learned to say his name right. Okay? So, one of you face the doors, one of you face the windows. Make sure you can see yourself in the mirror though. So over here we might need to scatter or spread out. Actually, somebody come right here in the hole. Oh. I'm trying to get it where you can all see yourselves. Got it. Okay, so in the the shoulder hinge, and I just kind of leave the elbows lifted. Okay, now we're just going to do crossovers from side to side. So we're basically just going to be doing this. Okay? So now as we come back through, don't drop the elbows, keep them lifted. All you have to do really is take those fingers out. That's why we needed to. We're stopping each other. Okay, move forward then. There we go. Okay, they move better. Okay. Okay, sorry. We're all hitting each other over here. We're gonna do this again. Okay, here we go. So, go towards the mirrors. Ready? And forward. So see that arm straight out. Good. Fingers out. And again, fingers out. Come back to face. Fingers out. In, fingers out. And back in, and fingers out. Right. Back. So again, if I drop my elbows, so now watch. If I drop my elbows in between, and I've got to go through, I've got to pick my whole arm back up. And then I'm here. And then I got to pick my whole arm back up. And then I'm here. Now, if we're going to dance in 45 minutes at the social party, well, I'm not going to pick anything up. I can dance down here. That's fine. It's a Friday night social party. I'm out at the club. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to really look in the right place, am I? Okay. Maybe here at the ballroom studio, I'm okay. Okay? But if I'm out at the nightclub and I start doing this on the floor, I'm not really getting the looks for the right reasons, am I? Okay, I'm the over dancer out at the nightclub. Now, sometimes that's okay, we want to show off a little bit. But in general, that's not the place and time that we use it. Even at a social Friday night party, there's usually, hopefully, too many people around, okay? And if I start doing this, I'm whacking them, and then everyone hates me and doesn't want me to be around them and dance with them. Okay, so we have to understand, that was part of this, the concept of this class when Dominic asked me, the difference between social dancing and event dancing. It actually has nothing really to do with my legs and my feet. Okay, because I'm still going to try and do the proper footwork, whether I'm dancing socially or at an event. But the difference is the finished product. Okay, if I'm dancing here in 45 minutes, or maybe it's half an hour now, you know, at the party, and so you do just open break under our turn, we just talked about. You know, open break, under our turn, I can be relaxed. I'll still pick my arm up there though, just because I know he has to find my back. Okay, but I'm not going to do what I would need to do tomorrow at the team match, which is finish the line, keep the line, and do it back again, and be back through. It's not right for that arena. Okay, so that's the only difference. Now, did my legs get a little sharper? Maybe, but I wasn't technically trying to do anything different from the waist down. Okay, and that's where I think sometimes, you know, people think, oh, I've got to do so much more to compete. Well, no, you should be doing it when you're dancing in general. But again, dancing at the club or at the Friday night party, if I have the room, yeah, use it. Why not? You're practicing it. But in general, especially if you go to a salsa club, you know, let's say we're just doing salsa, bump, 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 I'm going to be very tight on the spot, aren't I? Okay, so if I start doing this, just do some, and I start going all out here, well, I've just hit 3 people in the process. And then I start getting glared at for the wrong reasons. Okay, so we just have to recognize the difference when we're using something and why we're using it, okay? But again, for an event, if I dance like this at an event, do a break. And I come back and I've just done this, and everyone else around me is doing their arms, I'm going to feel out of place too. Okay? So, I want to not embarrass myself, so I have to understand the difference of when I need what. Okay? So everyone face the mirror for a minute. So crossover breaks, because you're doing it but not realizing. So I go from meeting my partner here in the middle to extending my arms out. To meeting them back in the middle to extending them out. Okay, I'm not meeting them back here. And even this is one thing socially that in reality you should still meet them with those elbows lifted. Okay, you really should never be down here because that does actually affect the posture. Okay, and it affects the tone that he can then lead you with. again, I've always got to have the back connected. Okay, but basically I'm going from my middle position. How many did ballet at one point in their life? I know it's contemporary dance now, but I'm old school. I actually did ballet. Okay, ballet port de bras, you bring your hands to the center, you extend them out, and you turn your hands over and you bring them back down. We're not doing anything that far removed from that. Okay? So for anybody that did do any of that or even didn't, just realize that our hands are basically, this is our center, opposite our sternum. Okay? We're just extending those fingers out from there. Okay? And again, it's somewhere between your shoulders and your ears. Okay? That might feel high for some of you. Okay, now, let's just talk about swing for a minute. Because East Coast swing is the other dance, it is more casual. I'm not going to do this in a swing, no matter where I am. Okay? So swing, I take this out position, and I bring the elbows in. But you see from my elbow to my fingers, I'm still extended. And then I dance here. Okay, so I do triple step, rock, step, triple step, rock, step, triple step, rock, step. So it's in context with the dance. I don't just have my hand drooping, falling, flying, and it wouldn't feel right to be going triple step, rock. That wouldn't feel right. It doesn't match the dance. Okay, but if I just let my hand hang, or I do an underarm turn, and my hand just kind of hangs or flies with it, I know that I should do something with the arm. Okay, so it's basically, it's not that different. It's just instead of being completely extended from here, I brought those elbows in. And then everything works from here. Even West Coast swing. Bum, bum, bum. That should be the base feeling of the arm. Because again, I need to connect in West Coast swing right to him. I can just bring that in when I bring that side. Okay? Because West Coast wouldn't feel right either. It'd be like triple step. Okay, it wouldn't fit the mood of the dance. But I don't necessarily want to just drop the hand either. Okay? Okay. Get back to my original part. Go back to your part with the crossover though. Okay, so now that we kind of imagine you're okay. Okay, I'll just watch. Okay, so here we go. Elbows. And here we go. Towards the mirror. Boom. Straight out. Through. The other side. Boom. And back through to the mirror. And crossover. Boom. Back through. I'm not even worried about the legs. This isn't a legs workshop. It's an arms workshop. That's it. So think of taking those fingers out. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to add a thought for some of you. Some of you, just kind of let it sink in, and 6 months, a year from now, the crazy blonde ladies will make sense. Okay? For some of you, a crossover also from a competitive level is no longer just being here. Now, I'm sorry, forget your name. Judy. Don't have to worry about this for tomorrow. Okay? Monday, maybe. Not tomorrow. Okay? In the beginning stages, it's totally fine to do your crossover and end up basically square. Okay, so what I mean by that is my shoulders and my hips are basically still straight over each other. But for some of us that have learned some Cuban motion, we want to add some rotation through the shoulder line. So I have more of a V effect, especially if my partner's doing it. But what you notice is my arms are still just directly to the side. What has changed is that I rotate the whole side through, from side to side. So when you watch a professional and their arm looks back, okay, because this is very common, well, I need to get my arm back like you do it. I never put my arm back. Okay. But I've rotated my body to where my arm might appear to be back. Okay? So we have to realize I'm never going to do a back line because that pops my shoulder out of socket. With that, I've now lost back connection. I do it enough, and with enough, all things out, my rotators aren't going to like me much either. Okay? Everything we do is always from middle to out. The only thing that can be added is sometimes some some body shape, some body sway, or rotation along with it. Okay, but I'm never trying to put an arm behind you, because guaranteed you won't buy that picture. Even though you tried, you thought, oh, I gotta get that arm back. Trust me, you're not gonna buy that one either. Okay, we gotta be able to get Jack to pay for his dance lessons. Okay, so again, there's side. Now, depending on how much rotation you add of the spine, that makes an arm look forward or back or diagonal, however you want to look at it. So for some of you in here, you're at the level you can examine that thought. Some of us, this is good. Exactly. Airplane arms. Okay? Yeah. So again, depending on my partnership, right? You know, now again, this is different. I'm dancing tonight at the party. Even as a teacher, I'm not going to do my crossovers while I'm talking to someone. So I'm not going to finish at my side either, because I probably tried to keep my conversation going. Okay? It's social dancing. Okay? But when I'm doing an event, that's what I'm going to try and finish. Boom. Okay? Boom. Because I'm not supposed to be talking during the event.
No talking to party.
Okay? But a social dance is a social dance. Part of my job as a teacher is to teach you how to dance and talk. Okay? I'm known to talk a lot. It's okay. Yeah. Oh, well, you have some. Yeah, you have some really mean teachers. There's David, right? He's the hero. You know, it's so funny because my husband.
Like I never asked them to do that.
My husband, which some of you know, Hunter, he can be extremely an intense person. And he's mellowed, I guess, as he's hit his 40s. But my new staff members, some of them have been with us 3 months to 6 months now, he's now the nice guy at the studio. How did that happen? I'm the mean business person. Because I'm always on them about their stats and their lesson teaching and their goals and their this and their that. And Hunter's like, are you having fun? That changed. Okay? So again, it depends on what we're doing. Okay? But finishing is the most important thing. And I can go, I can judge the big comps, I can judge the little showcases, the team matches like we have tomorrow. And sometimes that's really where I can tell the difference. Okay? It comes down to understanding the difference between whether I'm dancing at a social event versus dancing at, I hate to use the word just competitive event, but an event where people are watching. Okay? And I see it, I can be at a big World-orama, and I can still see the students that their teachers have them dancing like it's, you know, a Friday night party. Versus, you know, now a team match, your very first one, it's okay. You're a newcomer, it's great. You know, you have nothing to compare it to. So it's fabulous. The next one's the scary one. Okay? But by then you'll be so hooked, you'll be like, oh, I can't be any worse than I was the first time, so I'll do it again. Now, is your husband dancing with you?
No, he's one of my victims.
Good. Who's your other victim? Ah, awesome. Cool. So who's your husband dancing with? Does he dance yet?
Well, he comes to class.
Oh, good. But he's letting you have the floor. It's nice of him. We'll have to get him for the next one.
Oh, I don't think that's
It's a challenge.
His 3-year plan is to learn one dance.
Kind of like my 5-year golf plan.
I can teach you golf.
I'm horrible at golf. It took me so long just to make contact with the ball. So my 5-year golf plan was it didn't make any sense to spend a lot of money at a golf. Well, you know, we're in Texas. You can play golf for a fairly reasonable amount of money. I came from California where a cheap golf course was like $100. So to me, it was like, I'm not spending a lot of money till I can at least make contact with the ball regularly. It might not go forward yet, but at least when I swing through, that it can make contact. That took a lot. Then I got pregnant and I've had 2 children, so I'm on like the 10-year plan now.
Maybe
Okay.
not.
Exactly. Well, I figure I have 2 boys and a husband, so if I'm going to see them at any point in time, I have to learn to play golf. Because I'm not going to go hunting. step where you do rock back and rock back. Okay? So the arm goes out for the open break. So we rock back on the right foot. We turn to the door or the fan, whatever that is. And now we're going to rock back on the left foot, and that left arm's going to go up. Okay, so we're basically, let's just